there, Chocs and Chocettes and in between. Chocolate Roberto here for a very special review. It's the M&S The Drippy Egg. Yes, a unique hand-decorated Belgian milk chocolate egg. Delicious, and it's one of a kind. Well, there we go. Yes, I guess someone's just had a ladle or whatever and just poured over various sort of runny toppers, basically. I think that's the gist of this one. It looks very nice, doesn't it? You can see it's in a paint tin as well. I mean, obviously not. I guess a real paint tin, but obviously not one that's had paint in before. At least I hope not. So that's a central gimmick, really. Yeah. So very interesting one, very nice looking one. You get the tin comes in various pastel colours. I think the three colours here, that's sort of green, pink and yellow, you can get it in. And quite expensive as well. I think it was like £10-15 or something like that for this. And all it is actually an egg. You don't get anything else. It's just a gimmick, basically. But I thought I had to get it. It looked very interesting and nice to do for the channel as well. So yeah. So what's the blurb on the bottom? What does it say? Decorated milk chocolate egg. Okay, there we go. All right, anything else? Okay, well, we've got for some reason it's have a grid of calories. Per 100 grams, 562 calories, so above the 500 to 550 that chocolate products tend to have. 35.4 grams of fat, of which saturates 21.7. There we go, and here's all the stuff in here. Do we have anything of interest? Vanilla flavouring, cocoa butter, dried whole milk. The spirulina, sweet potato, turmeric, apple, radish and cherry. I thought it's apple radish. It's not. Milk chocolate contains cocoa size 30% minimum, milk size 20% minimum. There we go. I've still not worked out just what I prefer on that scale, really. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I think generally a low milk solid, I think, for me, but I'm not worked it out yet. You can see it's in French there as well. Do sell in France. Presumably. Well, they do, but there you go. So for vegetarians, it's 225 grams as well, so quite high in calories. Think about it. So you're doubling that, basically, that value, and adding 25% on as well. So quite high in calories, really. You're talking over 1,124 calories plus 20% on that as well, a quarter. So 120 on 125 maybe. Extra on top of that, I'm not sure. I'll probably do a caption for just how many calories that should work out as. But yeah, it's over about 1,300, 1,400, something like that. So yeah, quite a lot. Quite a lot, yeah. Made in Ireland with chocolate from Belgium. Suited vegetarians, there we go. We always got the green dot here as well. It says that the company that made it, M&S, I guess, support recycling, but this product isn't necessarily recyclable. This packaging. Still the green dot because it's originally green, but it tends to be just whatever colour now. It seems all black and white, I guess, because they don't want to spend the money on the colour. That's not suitable for people with a nut allergy. Not a very good warning, that, I don't think, I have to say. All right, well, there we go. So yeah, I don't think there's much more to say, really. Some kind of QR code, I guess. Is that a QR code? I think it is. Don't feel free to scan it, see what happens. Barcode, of course, feel free to scan that as well. Yeah, looks very nice. We need to give it an open, don't we, really? I don't think there's much more to say. Very plain, other than the actual label here. There's not much else going on. A couple of stickers on the top as well. Yeah, all right. Well, let's give it an open. Excited for this one. Hope it looks as good as, as it, well, I mean, I'm assuming it will do, but we'll see. Let's find out. Let's give it an open. Okay, well, I'm giving this M&S The Drippy Egg an open. Yeah, so it's got the old paint tin gimmick going on. Hopefully it's not as difficult to open as a tin of paint. Hopefully we need some kind of trowel or scraper or something to get underneath the metal. Hopefully not. All right, so good. I guess we could just, we'll just peel off the top, shall we? Why not? I think that's the best way to do it. There we go. Yeah, very good. So fingers crossed it comes off quite easily anyway, as I say. It will be quite frustrating if we do need some kind of, as I say, oh, there we go, yeah. It's a lot easier than paint to get off by the seams of it. Well, definitely. There we go. Yeah, so it's very much, just kind of, quite sort of, taking it to quite extremes. Got like a cover there. Look at that, the top of there looks quite interesting. There's lots of packaging in here, just to keep it from smashing against the metal, which makes sense. See if we can, let me just take off these bits here. I'm going to get in the way. Sticking to stuff, so let's take them off. All right, so a bit of work to get in there. Let's see, can we get this out? And it looks interesting. There we go. So it's quite a sizable egg, that you would definitely say. So you can see there the base. It smells very nice as well. Yeah, it does smell very nice. Right, so I'll bring my plate in so we can. Yeah, there we go. Right, okay. So it's a hollow egg. I like the way it's got a little flat bottom there, so you can kind of stand it up. Yeah, it looks alright. As I say, quite a lot of packaging there. Probably keep this as a biscuit tin or something. It's paint tin, I guess. Could be, yeah, quite nice. So it's got like a sort of, I don't know if you can quite see there, but it's got like a case on the inside as well. So as I say, to keep it quite safe, we'll take all that out. More packaging. Somehow you have to manipulate it to get that out. But yeah, I think if you had biscuits in it, it would just stay in the wrapper. But this, as I say, sort of centre in there as well, and a bit of a bottom there. But if you get all that out, you could use this as a biscuit tin for sure. So might keep that to one side for a biscuit tin, or for a paint tin. There we go. So right, so what do we think then? First impressions. Well, let's move that out of the way as well. Get the there we go. Yeah, well, first impressions, as I was saying. So looks okay. I mean, in fact, we've got the. Well, I have to bring back the tin actually, mightn't we? I mean, it's hand decorated. You know, it can obviously vary. I would probably guess it does look quite similar to that, doesn't it? If you look at that there, the way that's designed, it does look very similar. You know, the effect looks a bit too coincidentally similar. So they obviously try to make it look like that on the front of it. You know, it's got some technique to make it, unless it's just a coincidence, which it could be. But it looks like they've got some kind of technique to try and make it look like that on the front of it. But I think it looks, I don't know, it doesn't look that great. I mean, obviously, you know, it's just someone's just poured 3 colours on, haven't they? One after the other, put it on the conveyor belt. One person pours on the blue, one person pours on the pink, and one person pours on the yellow. So they're quite distinct. I mean, I would say though it's disappointing that the seam kind of comes through it a bit and ruins the effect. You can see there and here. You know, I think if that wasn't there, I think it would look a lot better. But unfortunately, that has ruined it somewhat, really. So I guess it needs to be a thicker topper, a thicker sort of dip or whatever, or well, whatever ladle of colour on top. It's quite thick here. That's where it's dripped down a bit, but here obviously it thins out because it drips down. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's very much a gimmick. It's okay. I mean, yeah, there we are. So it's very hollow. It feels hollow. It's quite a sizable egg though. Not sure how's the best way to measure this. Sticky. I knew these sticky things would get everywhere. Sticking to my ruler now. Honestly, right. So I'm not sure how best to measure it. Bit difficult to measure. We'll give it a try with this. I have to base it by eye to an extent. But it's about 16 centimeters tall actually. And it's not. I'm not going to be totally accurate with this, but hang on. It seems to be about 16 centimeters. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's about 16 centimeters basically, and the width about maybe 11. So it's very difficult to gauge that. I mean, I guess I could perhaps use the calipers for this one, but just slightly. Yeah, the calipers say about 11, so I was about right actually. Yeah, 7.1, 11, something like that. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So overall, it looks okay. I don't think, you know, I think it's a bit underwhelming. As I say, I think it's mainly that seam, the way that's just gone through the you know, the ladling of the topper, basically, for want of a better term. What did they call it on the tin? I can't think of. Or the drip, I guess. The hand decoration. Yeah, I guess. Okay, yeah, the decoration, there we go, the decoration we'll call it. Yeah, so there we are, so it's okay. I feel this is, I mean, you know, it's mainly just a sort of regular chocolate egg. I guess it's the top that's going to be the most exciting part. So there we are, so, there we go. I think we need to get into it then, don't we, which unfortunately is going to have to involve breaking it, but that's what we're here for. There's no foil or anything like that for this one, so we're just going to have to slam it down and hope for the best. Fingers crossed, but yeah, okay, here we go. Let's give it a break. There we go. Well, it broke just along that bit there. So you can see it's quite a thick egg there. Nice smell coming from it, actually, but well, there's a smell. I thought it was nice at first, but I'm not sure now. It's a shame that it's not broken across the here, but it's probably holding it together, so that's why it's broken here. We'll have to try and perhaps just break it apart a bit. There we go. So we've got some of the decoration. You can see it's coming off there. There we are. Okay, we got a bit there. You can see it's coming off there as well, so it's quite a thin layer there. See quite the coloration. My camera adjusts. There we go. So yeah, so you can see quite a thin layer there, and you can see it will just come off, which is, I don't know, maybe a bit disappointing. So it's quite thin, really, isn't it? You can see, I can't move my finger in the right place there. Quite a thin layer that of topper. You can see here as well. So yeah, I actually know what the topper is really. I'm assuming it's white chocolate. Well, I don't know what it is actually. It doesn't even say. It doesn't really tell you what the actual topper decoration is really. Yeah, I don't know. It could be that sort of all the stuff that was like, you know, all the different fruity type things. You know, it's got like sweet potato, spirulina, turmeric, apple, radish, cherry. Like, it could all be weird fruity flavours maybe. So it would be worth tasting that. But all right, well, if we need to give this a taste, so let's lift myself up. Let's give it a go. See what it tastes like. Let's do it. Okay, everyone, giving this M&S The Drippy Egg a taste. So we've opened it and had a look at it, as you would have seen. Unless you just skipped to this part, and in which case you haven't, but that's what we've done. So we've got the sort of breakages of it here. So you can see it's quite a thin layer, as we discussed before, from the drippy part. We've also looked at the ingredients, and there seems to be lots of sort of fruity oddities in the ingredients list. Yeah, what did we have? We had like turmeric, didn't we? So was it turmeric, sweet potato? Sweet potato, spirulina, turmeric, apple, radish, and cherry. So we think, I think keeps doing that, you know, it's driving me nuts, but try not to make continuity weird errors and noises and things like that, and this, that, and the other, and that thing keeps making noises, so it makes it difficult. But there we go. Anyway, that's my problem. Yeah, so interesting one. So we're thinking that might be, yeah, where all those flavours are. Doesn't really say for sure, but you can see on the back it looks quite nice, actually, doesn't it? You can see it's blended in a bit. So overall, I guess it's a bit underwhelming, but you know, and obviously the topper is quite thin. It's only at the top as well for obvious reasons. But yeah, all right. I'll tell you what. Let's give it a bit of a taste. We'll taste a bit of the chocolate first. So let's give it a go. Let's give it a taste. Not bad actually. It's quite keep putting this on the floor. It describes itself as a Belgian chocolate, and I think that's probably about right. It does taste like sort of like that creamy Belgian chocolate taste, but it's I actually quite like it. Let's just say, yeah, unique hand decorated Belgian milk chocolate egg. But that's actually not too bad for me. I actually quite like it. Normally Belgian chocolate's a bit too milky for me, a bit too creamy, but this one's actually not bad at all. Let's give it a bit of a taste then with the topper. Let's give it a go. Well, I'm not really getting anything from it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I didn't really get anything from that topper at all. I was expecting all sorts because of all those ingredients, which may or may not be part of the topper, but I assume they are. But I didn't really get anything from it at all. I just tasted the chocolate. So let's try it on its own. It's got a slight taste to it, but it's nothing. A bit sweet actually. There's a slight sweetness to it once it liquefies in your mouth a bit and you're about to swallow it. But yeah, generally that topper's nothing to write home about. I think you'd say it's okay. There's nothing. It doesn't taste horrible, but it doesn't really taste so much really. And when it with the chocolate, all you really taste is the chocolate. Despite the fact it's a hollow egg, the chocolate remains pretty thick all the way around. See here though, there's a bit of a thin part here. But it's not too thin. It's actually quite a nice chocolate actually. And I say I'm not normally a fan of Belgian chocolates, but this one's actually pretty nice. I like it. You can see here the egg's quite thick on these bits as well. Yeah, so not bad. I actually quite like this. I think it's very nice. I think it's a bit the decoration was a bit underwhelming to an extent. The way, as we saw before when we opened it, the way the seam sort of interrupts the sort of the drip, the topper down it, and I think that's a bit disappointing. You know, so it does break that illusion or well, not illusion, but yeah, it just ruins the look of it basically. So that's a problem, but it tastes actually very nice. I actually quite like this. I don't know if it's worth the money. I mean, it's always a bit difficult to gauge that sort of thing because obviously £1 is more to one person than another person, or $1 or whatever. But I'll still value the same. But what I mean is, some people have more dollars to spend than others, or more pounds to spend. So yeah, don't know, interesting one. I think it's quite nice. I actually quite like this. I think, as I say, the chocolate is very nice. And the topper looks okay. I think it could be presented a bit better. I think that's the only problem. I think for the money you're paying, I would expect not to have that seam on the top. So I think that is disappointing. As I say, you can see it there. You can see why it's there because the seam is slightly raised. But even so, yeah, for the money you're paying, they shouldn't have that effect. It should look perfect. And it was the same on both sides as well. The other one's broken off a bit there. It's quite a thin topper as well. It's definitely just a gimmick. It's just style over substance, if you know what I mean. It doesn't really taste of anything specific either. I mean, there's a slight taste to it, but nothing too dramatic. Just trying to snap a bit off there. All I've got is that. Yeah. There you go. That's a bit more. There we go. How about that? There's a slight sort of sweetness to it, but I don't know. I was a bit worried actually. Sometimes these toppers or other effects like that, they can kind of ruin the taste. They can think, well, sometimes I prefer just to have the chocolate, but it doesn't really add anything or detract. It's just there. It just looks good. It doesn't really taste of anything particularly. It doesn't interrupt the taste of the chocolate. And the chocolate's very nice. Yeah. Difficult one to rate, this one. As I say, I think the chocolate is really good, and I think the thickness of the Easter egg works really well as well. I think it's just quite a nice thickness. It just works well. It's a solid. It's not metaphorically, I guess you say, or you would say metaphorically, yeah, possibly metaphorically. A solid egg, but no, it's not actually solid. Not literally solid, but metaphorically. Yeah, I quite like it. You can see there, it's not got many. What's the word? I guess you'd say sort of mistakes in it or problems. It's quite a perfect egg, but you can see here there is a bit of a lump there. Where you get a bit of a thicker egg, but there's not many of those kind of things, which is a bit I tend to like with Easter eggs when you get these lumpy bits. They're not perfect, but in this case it's relatively a perfect egg almost, probably because it's made to a standard that's a bit different than other ones, or it's just a fluke one or the other. But it's quite thick all the way around either way. Let's say the top is just a gimmick. It doesn't look as good as it should because of that seam interruption there, as I say, which is a shame. But it looks okay. It doesn't taste of anything particular. It's just purely there for show. But the chocolate itself, I think, which is what's important, really tastes nice. And there's a whole gimmick thing. It's just for show. I say the paint pot thing, the paint on the top. I guess it's meant to look it's meant to look like paint, isn't it? It's all for show, but it looks nice. It works. It's a nice gift, and it tastes pretty good as well. It's a shame there's nothing else to it, but I can understand why there isn't. It wouldn't thematically work if there was other things in it. I mean, it's meant to be in a paint tin, so it wouldn't really work to have anything with it. But nonetheless, you could argue that having a chocolate egg in a paint tin isn't really thematically sensible in any way, shape, or form. So, so they could have added things in there as well, like little sort of sweets inside the egg and stuff like this. So, but overall, yeah, I think it's quite nice. I don't know what to rate it particularly. At the end of the day, it's just a nice Belgian chocolate. It's presented pretty well. I think, but at the end of the day, it's just, there's nothing over. It looks great. It's presented really well, but it's still just a hollow chocolate egg with a bit of, I don't know, effect on the top that doesn't look too great. It looks okay, but as I say, it's unfortunately ruined by these seam line that's poked through on it. So while it is nice and while it's sort of presented quite well, there's not. It doesn't really add that much to it. The fact it's in a painting and it's got this sort of splodge on top, it doesn't really give you that much. And as I say, it's just a pretty sparse product. There's not much else in it other than the egg, of course, and that topper. But that topper doesn't really do much anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a 4 out of 5 basically. I think if it had something else in it, if it came with something else, if someone managed to make it work with like a chocolates on the inside of the egg or something like that. I mean, they could have done sort of pastel, sort of mini eggs covered in, like Cadbury's mini eggs. I mean, obviously not obviously Cadbury's mini eggs, but they have a sort of sugar shell that looks like this, shares these colours basically. So they could put them inside the egg, some kind of their own equivalent, their own versions of those, or something like that anyway, or something with those colours, just to just to give you something a bit extra, really. And I think it would have worked quite well, that. And for obvious reasons, just getting more. I don't think it would have mattered. It wouldn't have related to paint. That you would have this filled with mini eggs or whatever. Because having a chocolate egg inside a painting doesn't really make sense either, does it? So yeah. So I think that's why it's not quite anything higher. But it's a really nice idea. It looks good. It's well executed. It's it's overly expensive for what it is, but as I say, you do get this superfluous paint tin or whatever. You can use it as a biscuit tin, but as I say, I'm sure that's not worth the extra money you'd spend. You're still just getting a very small amount of chocolate really for what you're paying. But it's a nice gimmick, and it works for the most part. But as I say, it's what it gives with one hand, it takes away with another, because you're not getting anything else. You're not getting it filled with, as I say, mini eggs that could have been pastel coloured to match the top of the paint or whatever. They could have done more, basically, is what I'm trying to get at, for the money. But so while it looks great and, as I say, it's a nice novelty, you're getting kind of the bare minimum almost, really. And the sort of like the splodge, well, the topper, whatever you want to say, the cover, as I say, is kind of ruined by the seam poking through it, which is a shame. So even that's kind of ruined a bit, and it's quite thin as well, other than around the edges here, but it doesn't really taste of anything. But the chocolate's very nice. 4 out of 5, so there we go. As I say, swings and roundabouts. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Check out the YouTube member program. It's great to support the channel, really is. Link for that's in the description. Go to help the channel out as well and help it grow. Check out the Discord server as well. Go to keep in touch with myself and be part of the community. And leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, as I say. Leave a comment as well. Always great to hear from you. I always do my best to reply. Really is great to hear from you, and I mean that. Have a great day as well. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye for now. See ya. Bye.